Sir, your Luna is kneeling at the door, and it looks like she's been there for quite a while. Today is your wedding anniversary. Let her in. Sienna's POV. I am Sienna Luna of the Great Silverfang Pack. Tonight, I kneel in the rain. Cold raindrops pelt against my skin, seeping through the thin fabric of my dress. But I don't move. My legs are stiff, my knees pressed against the hard pavement outside the hospital door. But none of that compares to the pain in my chest. Raiden is inside, with her. I tilt my face upward, raindrops trailing down my cheek like silent tears. I should leave, I tell myself. There is no place for me here. Not anymore. After all, I have my pride to consider. But that was who I used to be. Proud, unwilling to budge. The version of me that existed before my father's accident. Before Windhowl Pack, my home fell into financial ruin. Before, I realized the only person who could save my family was the same man, who had never once looked upon me with love in his eyes. The door creaks slowly open. Heavy boots splash against the wet ground, stopping just a few steps in front of me. I lowered my gaze to see a pair of polished black boots. One of Raiden's subordinates. Luna, the young wolf says stiffly, his voice laced with discomfort. He's new to the pack. I do not recognize his scent. Come inside. You have been summoned. Is this his pity? Or something more? Hesitation has its grip on my throat. Tight, icy little claws that refuse to let me go. For a foolish second, hope sparks tinders in my chest, a desperate and fragile thing. Did Raiden remember our anniversary? Did he want this too? Want me? The soldier waits. His face is neutral, unreadable. Steadying myself, rising to my feet. It's hard to ignore the searing pain that shoots up my legs. Following him into the hospital, my soaked dress clings to my body. I feel vulnerable, almost naked. With each step, my heart pounds harder, faster, threatening violence in its rhythm. What will I see when that door is pushed open? What fresh hell will be revealed? The questions are useless. Deep in my heart, I already know. Raiden. He sits smug, strong. As dark and cold as I ever remembered. Beside him sits Lila. She's propped up against white hospital pillows, and a delicate gauze is wrapped around her wrist. Her long, golden curls cascades over her shoulders, perfectly arranged despite her supposedly tragic state. Raiden stands, his hand adjusting the blanket over her legs with the utmost care. The gentleness is jarring. He's never touched me that way. He doesn't even look at me at first. It's Lila who turns her head up, her lips curling into something that could almost resemble a smile. A smirk perhaps, I cannot tell. Oh Sienna, she murmurs, her voice a soft mockery of sympathy. You poor thing. You're soaked. Clenching my fists and biting my tongue, I try to breathe it out. Lila knew exactly what she was doing when provoking me, when she flaunted that obnoxious expensive necklace from Raiden, whispering just loud enough for me to hear how much he must care to spend such a fortune on her. I hadn't cared then about the necklace, not really. I had never naked Raiden for jewelry or gifts. I never asked him for anything. But Lila had perverted the truth, turned my anger into jealousy, my frustration into violence. And now here we are. Finally, Raiden looks up at me. His eyes are cold, but they manage to sweep over my rain-drenched form. You've been kneeling at my door for long, Sienna, he says. You have come to offer your apologies to Lila? His voice is calculated, melodic, and if I'm not mistaken, seething with fury on my account. I swallow hard, my throat is burning. This had nothing to do with our anniversary. He hadn't remembered what today meant. Forcing myself to stand tall, the words of my request play on an unyielding loop. It's something I'd been practicing all those long hours in the rain. It's what kept me sane. I've come to discuss a matter. It's important, Raiden. My voice is steadier than I had given myself credit for. My pack, my father's pack, is in trouble. There is a dead silence that's settled over the room. His eyes remain fixed on me, but his mouth remained closed. You have come to ask. Lila starts in, but Raiden raises his hand, silencing her. There is a way in which we approach these sorts of matters, Sienna. He's going to make me beg. Raiden, Lila is here, healing from wounds that you are responsible for. And here you stand before me making demands. Raiden, I am not making demands. This is a request, an urgent one. I would not have come. For a split second, our eyes meet, and my words falter. I cannot bring myself to say another word. Raiden, this cannot. Silence, Lila, he growls. She whimpers but complies, staring down at me through daggers. What is it? What is this urgent request? His generosity surprises me. This is my one shot at helping my pack, my father. I need money, Raiden. I need a loan. Raiden's eyes narrowed. I knew him well enough to see a flicker of something in his gaze. Concern? Surprise? But before he could speak, Lila shuffles beside him, drawing his attention away from me. Oh, Raiden, she sighs, reaching out weakly. I feel faint. Instantly, he turns to her, as if there's nothing else in the world that exists. Nothing but her. Lila. He takes her hand. I could be drowning in front of him. He wouldn't even notice. She's lying. I whisper, but my voice is lost breath's whisper. She's manipulating you, Raiden. Sienna. Raiden's voice is sharp, a razor-like warning. Enough. Lila clutches his arm, her eyes filling with tears. I don't mean to cause trouble, she whines, shaking her pathetic little head. I know Sienna is upset. I know she could never have wanted to hurt me. She probably thinks I'm trying to take her place. Her lower lip trembles. I would never. She takes a tiny gasp of air, forcing her chest to heave. Raiden exhales, rubbing his temple as if this conversation exhausts him. You always do this, Sienna, he mutters. He says, twist things. Make yourself the victim. You hurt Lila, and now you come here and ask me for money. I close my eyes. I hate him. I should argue back, I should fight. But I am tired. Please, Raiden, Fine. The word stuns me. A greater assault than if he'd thrown me headfirst back out in the rain. The look on Lila's face assures me, she too didn't see this coming. Raiden stiffens, studies me. But not before you apologize. There it is, the condition. Raiden. I inhale sharply. Not just any apology, Lila interrupts. Her voice is as sweet as honey, but her eyes are wicked sharp. There is nothing but coldness in her heart. A real one. Get on your knees. My bria catches in my throat. I turn to Raiden, waiting for him to object. I am Luna, this cannot be allowed. He says nothing. He looks down away. As if the only way I can exist is by the grace of the ex-mate he holds so dear. The last of my hope withered. I started at him, searching for the boy I once loved. The boy who had told me that mates should be loyal. That love was sacred. That boy is long dead. In his place is a man who has never loved me. Who never will. The image of my father helpless crosses my mind. I sense Raiden stiffen again. He hadn't expected me to do it. Forget it, Lila. She's too proud and stubborn. She's always so arrogant. That's why she hurt you. Do you really think she'd ever kneel and apologize to you? Raiden says, if you're not willing to apologize, then leave. But none of that is true. I am desperate. I must yield, for my pack, for my father. Bowing my head, my voice is low but clear. Lila, I am sorry. Silence falls over the room. Raiden is staring at me. I feel his eyes, but I do not return the gaze. Slowly, I lowered myself. The prospect of my dying pack releases my knee. Perhaps he expected me to walk away, to go wild and lose control. But dignity, pride, or a loose tongue will not save a pack. Nor will it put food on the table of my brothers. Raiden's shocked gaze can't be hidden. Please give me money. I really kneeled down. Sienna's POV. Raiden stares at me, eyes widened in shock, but the other is expressionless and cold. For the first time in all the years we've known each other, he is rendered speechless. Knelt before Lila, my hands reclenched into fists at my side. My heart pounds against my ribs like a wild, caged animal. The cold of the hospital floor bites through the bare skin of my feet, but the temporary discomfort does not compare to the humiliation scorching my skin. Raiden's eyes are heavy as they are intrusive, the silence stretching unbearably between us. Lila, set atop her perch, lets out a soft gasp, one hand fluttering to her chest. She feigns surprise, but I know her heart. There is mockery in her eyes as a slow, impish smile tugs at her lips. Oh my God, Sienna, I was just joking. I can't believe you actually got down on your knees. She snorts as if the notion of my humility is laughable. She is poison. Why can't you see that? I force myself to look up at her. The overhead lights cast a soft glow around her golden hair, illuminating her delicate features. She looks almost angelic, but I know better. Lila has always been a master at playing the innocent, twisting every situation into a grotesquerie that can only make her look like the victim or the benevolent savior, depending on her fancy. There's a knowing behind her eyes. It stings uncomfortable. She turns her face up to Raiden, who stands guard immovable. You may as well give her the money, Raiden. She is Luna, after all. Charity darlin'. She smiles down at me, her voice drips with false kindness. The summit of the Alphas is in a few days, and it's not as if she has credentials like me. Maybe she really does need a necklace. The words cut deeper than I could ever expect. She makes it sound as if I am nothing. Just a useless wife clinging to the edges of a world to which I don't belong. You think you're the real wife at his side? The thought sears through me. I let myself sink down. Further, my nails dig into the flesh. My head hung low. The pain is the only thing that grounds me. Lila is not the only one who knows him, who deserves him. Bracing myself, I wait for him to silence her, to defend me even in the smallest way. He doesn't. There is no correction. He didn't even flinch. Have I ever meant anything to you, Raiden? My nails dig deeper. I feel my body shudder. I am frozen to the core. I should be used to this by now, but somehow the wounds are still fresh, and he rubs salt in my agony every chance she gets. A shrill ringtone cuts through the atmosphere, lighting to otherwise complement the brewing storm. I jolt, fumbling for my phone, cursing silently. The number that flashes across the screen sends ice flowing into already frozen veins of heartbreak and treachery. I have to take this. My voice is barely a whisper. I do not wait for permission, but Raiden remains silent. He doesn't care. Hello. Sienna, it's bad. The voice on the other side of the phone barely holds on. The sadness and grief bleeding through the line, washing over me like so many defeats. Ricard, my father's beta and best friend, was no young pup, but never had I heard his age so plainly, never had I witnessed the sound of his hurt. Your father, he's getting worse. The doctors don't think he will last the night. The floor seems to tilt beneath me, and the small treasures of my world wobble on their axis, threatening at any moment to take me under. I reach out to the wall for support. We need that money, Sienna, and we need you back on the compound. I swallow hard, my throat a sandpaper constriction that will not allow a single word to freedom. The line goes dead. My hands tremble as I lower the phone, remembering my state and the ill company I keep. I need to go now. Footsteps echo somewhere in the back of my mind. Raiden approaches. Without a word, he hands me a check. His eyes are open, but they cannot see me. They choose not to. The sorrow in my throat, the tears that struggle against my will, thrash wildly, demanding freedom. But I will not give it, not now, not ever. I will never let him see me cry. When I blink down at the crisp note held in my unsteady hand, my mind is a blur. I can hardly process the sum scrawled in Raiden's unsightly hand. It's a generous amount. More than I imagine he'd offer. More than the price of any necklace. Lila boasts. But it isn't enough. My heart pounds furiously again as I weigh out the options before me. I cannot leave here empty-handed. But how can I bring myself to beg? Raiden, please. The Windhowl Pack is in serious trouble. My father. Don't. His jaw tightens and he looks past me as I am, at best, a cumbersome idea. A daily strife he tolerates but only finds loathing to be true in his heart. This isn't a game, Raiden. I have never asked. He puts up a hand to silence me. Do not ever come to me and lie to me like you've done today, Sienna. His voice is like granite, a black void. And yet, I see it as much as I sense it. The taste of his fury is a bitter taste on my tongue. I inhale sharply, allowing the sting of his words to do their bidding. I am not a liar, Alpha. Raiden shakes his head. His patience is visibly fraying. My pleas fall on deaf ears and a dead heart. Dead to me. You expect me to believe this farce? This little show that you so delicately conspired against me. Raiden? Conspire. Enough, Sienna. He growls, the flash of familiar orange in his eyes enough to stifle any more protests that threaten to be made whole. I've poured more money into your pack than I care to admit, Sienna. You know as well as I do that your father has spent every cent I've given him. And now he sends you here to grovel on your knees making another scene because of Lila? He thinks I'm jealous. He thinks I'm making a play for his affections. My chest tightens painfully. I'm running out of time. Raiden, if you ever trusted me, if you ever had love for me. His phone buzzes in his pocket. He doesn't even glance at it before stepping back. I won't entertain any more of this circus. Take the money, Sienna, or don't. But I will warn you only once. Do not ever lie to me. My phone explodes once more. Raiden's eye catches mine for just a moment, long enough to suggest I've overstayed my welcome. I press the phone to my ear. My skin prickles with chill, my body vibrating against the inevitable tragedy that hunts without remorse. Sienna, Ricard pauses, takes a breath. If you want to say your goodbye, come now. The world shrinks around me. I can't breathe. Then without a second thought I turn and run. Raiden doesn't stop me. Raiden's POV. She just ran. Just like that she was gone. Watching her sleek form move through the dim shadows of the hospital corridor, my gut twists over on itself. She didn't even look back. Not once. Exhaling sharply, I run a hand through my hair. The irritation that gnaws at my insides makes no sense. There is no safety between me and the Luna, no love. It's a harsh reality, but I have given all that I am prepared to, though curiosity burns just enough to have me question myself. Was I wrong? Is she telling me the truth? Turning toward the bed, I remember Lila. Her delicate features creased now with a worry that does not concern her. Do you think she might actually be in some kind of trouble, Raiden? Lila has no love for Luna, but she does adore their game of cat and mouse. One day it could prove fatal, but until then the she-wolves may do as they please. They are of no consequence to me. Trouble. I snort in detrition, but the word rattles around in my head. An unwelcome echo. Sienna's always in some kind of trouble. Lila lets go, a cackle that prickles my skin. Why? She always was jealous. This necklace, I know she. Enough? I growl, unable to control the fury that brews like poisonous honey in my belly. I will not spend the rest of my night brooding over the affairs of Sienna or her pack. The silence hit the room like a brick wall. The air inside was dead, save for the glowing embers of my discontent. You know she'll be back, Raiden. She always comes back. Always wants. I cannot bring myself to respond. Lila isn't wrong. Sienna's father squandered much of my wealth on luxuries he couldn't afford. After Sienna became my wife, the demand only grew. Once upon a time I had given and given until one day I saw the truth. They would never stop asking. Never stop taking. And Sienna? She had played the part of the frugal, dutiful Luna, but I knew better. She wanted my attention. That's all this is. A desperate plot to keep my eyes on her. My attention loyal to her whims, her expenses. I will not do your bidding, Sienna. Not now, not ever. Pushing aside the doubt in my chest, I force a smile at Lila. She'll be fine. There was no emergency. I say, was there? Sienna's POV. The city conspires against me. Its unrelenting tide of traffic a cruel taunt in the face of my speed and desire to reach father. Brake lights glow like burning embers ahead, stretching into the distance, a sea of red frustration. My grip on the wheel tighten, knuckles turning white as I will the line of vehicles to move. The radio drones in the background, the host's voice laced with pure and unadulterated disdain. She's just a useless vase of a Luna. She's enlightened and doesn't deserve her post next to our great king. A sharp pang stabs through my chest, anger igniting deep in my belly. With a growl, I slam the power button, cutting off the sneering jests that plague my every step. But the silence is no better, seeking to feed on the anxiety that churns so violently through my core. Father is waiting. I shake my head, not willing the inevitable to be true. How can it be true? How will I go on without him? Breathes Sienna. As if the moon herself hears my internal scream, the cars seem to part. Breaking through the sea of steel, I weave through the streets with reckless urgency. The pulse of my heart beats thunderously through my ears as the towering gates of Windhell Pack loom before me. The compound that was once so rich and full of life has darkened of late as if it, too, knew deep in its bones of the tragedies to come. My foot won't release the pedal any more than I can release the panic. The guards having barely enough time to scatter as tires screech against gravel. sending specks of dusty sorrow in the air. The heavy oaken doors that have seen many passings of the alphas that came before us, slam open. The pack house stands eerily silent, draped in an unnatural stillness, as if death has become it. The usual sounds, warriors sparring, the barks and giggles of pups, the scent of fresh meats and breads from the kitchens, all are dead. Instead, sorrow hangs in the air, thick, choking. My breath hitches. Something is terribly wrong. Have I run out of time? Is it too late? Rarity. My voice slices through the silence. Hasty footsteps echo from the hallway. My assistant emerges from the shades of the staircase, a torch burning ominously in her hand. Her face is tight with grief. Sienna, he's. Rarity voice cracks. Come quickly. He doesn't have much more time. We've cut the lights. He says it gives the eyes of his wolf more comfort. I don't wait. There's nothing else for me to say. I need to see him. Sprinting up the stairs, each step hammers against my chest like a drum beat from dread, or the wars of the old times. I sprint toward my doomed fate. The hallway stretches endlessly, and the heavy wooden doors of my father's lair open like the mouth of a beast. Ricard stands guard at the door. Sienna. I tear past him. Papa. I choke, rushing to his side. His eyes flicker open, dim, in agony, but somehow still holding the fierce love I have known all my life. Sienna, he whispers, his fingers twitching weakly. I catch his hand, gripping tightly as if I could somehow tether him, anchor him in this world. Tears blur my vision. I'm here. I got here. Then, just as the flame of a candle flickers the last of its light, he exhales slow, painful sounds. I knew you were strong, Sienna. Stronger than I could ever hope for. Stronger than I could ever be. Papa, don't say that, I whisper, shaking my head. You're the best Alpha Windhowl had ever had. A ghost of a smile tugs at his lips. No, my girl. I was a failure. I led this pack into ruin. But you could be different. You could have ruled over Windhowl. The words land, a searing punch to my soul that I did not expect. Papa, please. I regret that one thing, letting you marry into Silverfang. You should have been here leading. Not sacrifice for politics or love, Sienna. His breath catches, his fingers tighten around mine before going slack. Papa. Panic surges. Papa. But he is gone. The great flame of Windhowl has been extinguished. The Alpha is no more. The weight of grief crashes over me, swallowing me up without mercy or complaint. I am drowning in its unforgiving tide. The room blurs as I clutch his lifeless hand, my body trembling with the sobs of a daughter, of a people. Around me, murmurs of mourners begging to fill the space, pack members gather, whopper grieve. Then the reality strikes a merciless blow. The Windhowl pack is drowning in debt. Without an Alpha, we stand leaderless, vulnerable. The check I brought, a feeble attempt to help, is a mere drop in an ocean of ruin. Turning to where my younger brother stands, his pale face stares back from the doorway. Too young. Too inexperienced. He cannot take this on. Rarity clears her throat. Sienna. She hesitates, settling a kind hand on my still trembling shoulder. The council will need to decide. Without an Alpha, the pack, we're defenseless. We may have no choice but to place our future in Raiden's hands. We could see the need to annex. Absorb us. This legacy that my father has built? This community that Raiden knew nothing or cared even less about. My breath catches. My phone buzzes, the screen lighting up his name. Raiden. Killer of hearts. From Raiden. Stop messing about. There is a gala tomorrow, and I expect your presence. Be back inside pack grounds before the sun sets. I swallow hard, the lump in my throat grows. Another message follows. Don't make me repeat myself, Sienna. You will do as you're told. My fingers tremble. A hollow ache spreads like an infection through my chest. I sense the eyes of the back resting on my form, but I cannot bring myself to console them, not yet. This is the man that I chose over my pack. The man my father regretted me marrying until his very last breath. And now, when I need him the most, he dismisses my grief like an inconvenience. Something inside me shatters. The last illusion of love, of loyalty, they are dead. Sienna. Rarity's voice is somewhere in the back of my mind. I block the number. The silence fills the room. It's swallowing us all now. Every eye turns to me waiting. They need a leader. My father's words echo in my mind. You could have ruled Windhowl. Lifting my chin, my voice steady despite the storm that rages on inside. I'll do it. I face Rarity. She blinks. Do what, Sienna? I'm taking over, Rarity. I am acting alpha henceforth. Standing, I face the grouping of my pack members. Effective immediately, I am acting as leader of Silverfang Pack. A murmur ripples through the room. Doubt. Shock. Hope. Sienna, you're married into Silverfang. They won't. Silverfang is not my home. Not my pack. I cut in, voice sharp. A growl rumbling just low enough to let Rarity know she is treading on dangerous territory. Windhowl is my pack, my family, all of you. It is my duty to step up and an honor to lead you all into the next era. Under everyone's shocked gaze, I slowly lifted my head. For the first time in a long time, I feel something other than grief. I believe it is purpose. To whatever end that may be, I will not fail. I will become the Alpha. I say,